Anna, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I am very good, thank you. I hear you're going on holiday next week. You going anywhere exciting at all?
Yes, we're going to Mallorca. We haven't been away for so long. We thought we would make the most of it while the COVID cases are keeping everywhere pretty quiet.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a great idea. Who's going with you?
My husband and 2 children, and me, obviously. It's the first time the children have been abroad, and they are so excited.
I bet they are, but I bet they can't wait. Well, I hope you have a brilliant time, and I cannot wait to hear about it when you get back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, right, before we start, I just want to say thank you for your efforts over the past year. It's been a really difficult year for everyone, and we've all had to adjust in different ways. So thank you for that and being patient with everything. It hasn't gone unnoticed, and your efforts are extremely appreciated. So thank you.
Wow, it's obviously it's been a difficult year for everyone, but that's really good to hear you say that. It really does mean a lot.
Brilliant. So as you know, this meeting is your annual appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be discussing your performance in the past year and your future objectives. I must let you know that it's just us two in this room, so don't be nervous or worried at all. This chat is highly confidential, so nothing will be going out between these 4 walls, and ask anything at any time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Brilliant. So, first question, how do you feel like your past year has gone?
I think it's gone really well, in my opinion, all things considered. We've obviously had my probation and my mid-year meetings, which I think went really well. I've never been in a job before, so there were challenges I had to overcome, and I think I have. I think I've done the job to the best of my ability so far.
Brilliant. Well, okay, so we're going to discuss your performance in more detail now with the help of your KPIs, so your key performance indicators. So the first 3 months were fantastic. You reached your targets consistently, you understood what was required in your role and performed admirably, so it was outstanding, really.
Thank you.
That's all right. After your probation, your performance has been good and we have been happy. However, there are a few things which you want to address with you. Firstly, from your KPIs, you've been achieving all your targets, which is great, obviously. And what's even more great is that you have been at times over-exceeding your targets, which is really promising to see. However, I feel that there are some areas which I feel like you could improve on. Your last 2 months have not been the best, really. You still do your targets, which is great, but it's far behind what you've not been doing before and what we expected you to achieve. Obviously, we want you to be reaching what the targets you were reaching before. Is there a particular reason as to why the performance standards have dropped recently?
Well, now that you come to mention it, there have been a few issues at home, and they've definitely contributed to me not doing as well in the last few months.
Okay, do you want to elaborate a little bit more on those issues at all?
Well, the main one has been the childcare, which has really affected us. My husband and I, we just can't seem to find any help at the moment to look after the children, and that has put a lot of pressure on us.
Well, firstly, I am really sorry to hear that. I don't have children myself, so I don't know what you're going through at all. But we are very flexible when it comes to working patterns, so we can change your shift pattern to accommodate your needs.
Wow, really? That would be so helpful.
Yeah.
As you know, my current working pattern means that I start early morning, which then puts pressure on my husband to make sure that the children get ready for school and arrive in school on time. And then my husband and I, we don't finish work till early evening, which means we either have to put the children into after school clubs or rely on the parents. And either way, that's more money as well.
That must be immensely stressful for you. Obviously, as mentioned, I've got no children, so I can't begin to imagine what you're going through. But let me make a note of this though, so I can forward you details of our flexible working policy, which by the sounds of it will help you immensely.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'll get this over to you as soon as I can after this meeting. And also look at shift patterns for you for the next few weeks and see if we can do some rearranging so you can start at different times whilst we work on your flexible working pattern. Does that sound okay?
Yes, I would really appreciate this. That would help us out so much, and it would help me keep more focused than on my work.
Okay, brilliant. As I said, I'll write a note down and then we can look at it in the next few weeks. So the next thing I wanted to discuss with you was your absence.
Oh.
As in the past 12 months, you've been off 8 times. which is well above the national average. Has everything else been okay at home, or is there anything that you want to discuss?
Well, it's the children again. It kind of goes hand in hand, actually. Both my children have been ill over the last year at different times. One of my children got very sick with COVID and actually had to go into hospital for a few days, and that was really worrying and really tough for all of us. And there were times when the future did look really bad for us, I have to say. And then my other child was involved in an accident at school playing football, which resulted in him not being able to walk properly for a few months. And obviously then he needed attention then as well. So both these incidents, one after the other, it just meant I had to take days off work. And I didn't want to take them, it was just out of my control.
I am really, really sorry to hear that. I had no idea. I hope they've both fully recovered now.
Yes, touch wood, luckily they both seem to be okay. And I'm really sorry for not saying about this before. I just didn't want anyone to find out.
No need to apologise, Anna. No need at all. I am sorry for having to ask. It's just that before I looked at the notes for this interview, we had no return to work folders in our files in relation to any of those days that you were absent. I would again suggest, if this case arises again, we look at flexible working, so you can prioritise looking after your children first in the situation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realise that there had to be return to work interviews.
No,
I wasn't made aware of it at all.
No, that was our mistake for not informing you when you first joined. So don't worry, I'll forward that back to our team leaders. And then going forward, then if you do have any absences again, we can do return to work interviews for you then. Okay. So going forward, then, what do you think you will do to change performance?
Going forward with the flexible working pattern system now, I think that would really, really benefit for me. And with no childcare problems then as well, I think that my performance would improve by 100%.
Yeah.
I could focus on more work as well.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I do think if you have any issues going forward, Anna, then do not hesitate to get in touch and speak up if you need help, because obviously we want to ensure that you work to the best of your ability, which we think you can do.
Thank you.
Another thing that I wanted to cover is in relation to the grievance issue you had with another team member for being too aggressive. Has that all been resolved now?
Yes, I'm really sorry about that. It was very out of character for me, and I'm really embarrassed by what I said. As you now know, I was having issues at home, and I just took my frustration out on one of my colleagues, which I deeply regret, and I have apologised to her for. But I'm pleased to say that the issue has been dealt with, and we're back good friends again.
Okay, that is great to hear. We obviously don't encourage this sort of behaviour at our workplace.
No.
And I'm glad to hear that you've put your differences aside with that colleague and managed to move forward. But obviously, if that does happen again, then we'll have to look more into it. Okay?
Okay.
So going forward, then, what do you want to achieve whilst you're working with us?
Well, I would really like to apply for the team leader role that I think is coming up.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I really want to further my career, and I think that would be the ideal role for me.
Okay, that is brilliant to hear that you actually are interested in that. It's an enjoyable role being a team leader, don't get me wrong. I've done it before. It can be challenging. You have to set strong examples of the company core values on a daily basis and be ready to deal with different challenges every day. It's an ideal role to have if you're looking at pursuing a career in this industry, as it gives you the skills you need to become a great leader. It also gives you an opportunity to form good relationships with staff, which I wanted to talk to you about because we've noticed that you haven't attended any team social gathering events or any corporate charity events, for example. Is there a particular reason for this?
I know it looks bad, and again, I haven't done it on purpose, but it's just because the situation with my children and the childcare. I really don't have the time available to go to these events, even though I would really love to. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad if I leave my husband alone with the children, as they're at an age where they can be a handful. And I feel sometimes I don't have any friends here and I feel a bit on my own.
Okay. How long have you been feeling like that for?
Well, a good few months now. It's not as bad as it seems. I do still talk to the team, but they have a strong bond and it's difficult for me to break it and get in with them.
Okay, well I am really, really sorry to hear that. I had no idea that you were having those issues. Looking forward then, we can obviously try and do more social gatherings that you can make. We can also introduce you to one of our buddies in our buddy system that we have here. And they can be your point of contact for you if you have any queries regarding work, if you'd like to have a general chat with them, go out for lunch. Their role is to help you, really, with that, to ease you in. Does that sound like something that would maybe
Yes,
attract you? Okay.
that would be amazing. I do struggle with confidence at times, so having a buddy will just make out all the difference, and
Okay.
it will bring out my confidence a bit more, and then I can ask him or her all the questions, or if I've got any problems.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, I'll make a note of that. It does seem like a buddy system will be the answer to this issue. We've had that system in place for quite a long time actually, and it has been really, really successful. So I can't see any reason as to why it wouldn't work in this situation.
Good.
Okay, brilliant. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, are you into sport at all?
Yes, yeah. My main sport, I suppose, is netball. I used to play at quite a high level.
It's funny you say that because we actually have a netball team which are looking
Really?
for players, so that might be a good way to sort of ease you into the team, the social gathering events. I can put your name forward for it if that is any interest to you.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Thank you very much.
That's okay. I'll put that down there for you now. So, moving on, I've looked at some training that I think would be beneficial to you moving forward in your role and potentially help you to get the team leader role that you're looking to apply for. If you're interested, I'll send that information across to you after this.
Yes, please. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Okay. Well, there are around 5 courses that are available to you. I would recommend that you read and view a maximum of 3, that as I think would be beneficial to you going forward.
Okay, great.
Okay, brilliant. I have also set some SMART objectives for you to work on for the next 6 to 12 months. So we want you to improve your performance, as mentioned, in relation to the targets that we've set. Absence to be reduced as well. We spoke about your working relationships with colleagues to be improved, and you're more involved in the social gatherings and corporate charity events. And we also want you to do more training activities that will help you develop in your current role. So as mentioned, we want you to do that within the next 6 to 12 months. Because we obviously, as mentioned, Dana, we want you to get back to the level that you were at before, because you were performing admirably and you were outstanding in your performances. Are there any other questions that you'd like to ask at all?
No, thank you. That all sounds perfectly acceptable and great. Thank you very much.
Well, that's brilliant, Anna, and thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat today. I'll write these notes up and then I'll send them to you just for you to check. But as mentioned before, if you have any issues at all with home or at work, then I've got an open door policy here, so come and chat to me whatever time of the day you would like to.
Thank you.
No worries at all.